Hello, welcome back. It's an honor and a blast to work with you today. Today we're going to be covering the Olympic style stance and guard, movement, and good clean straight punches. Let's get right into it. So in this first training video, we're going to cover a lot of ground because I want to give you three main skill sets so you can get boxing right away. And what we're covering today is the Olympic style stance and guard, movement, how to move your feet, and straight punches. Right now we're going to evaluate those things and how they work together and why they're important and dangerous. And we're going to start with that Olympic style stance and guard. And this is something that's pure science of boxing. It's perceived as a conventional stance and guard. Everything about the Olympic style stance and guard is designed to make you on balance, dangerous, get you where you need to go, get you out of harm's way, allow you to get your punches off in a powerful, compact way while you remain defended and don't give your opponent any opportunities to hit you back. It's a very utilitarian way to approach boxing. You do as little as possible with this stance and guard. And that's what the great fighters do. We point to fighters like Alexis Arguello and Sonny Liston. If you watch them in action, they're always in this sort of, neutral, comfortable, on balance, steady base position, which is their stance and guard. And we'll get into, we'll really break that down for you here in a minute.
Not only does Arguello bring pop into the ring and power, outstanding technician, very traditional in his stance, in his form, very effective. Oh, Mancini got rocked there. Mancini got hurt. Referee Tony Perez takes a look, and that's the end of the 12th round.
It's a very fundamental style, but there's a real beauty to it. When it's done well, it almost looks easy. Like you look at it and you think, I could do that. He's not hardly doing anything at all. But when you try boxing and you see the challenges in boxing, and then you see, a guy like Arguello or Liston doing it well, there's an art to it. There's almost an elegance to how they're fighting. Now, number two, we're thinking about movement. It's not enough to have a good stance and guard, you got to move around the ring. One key principle we're thinking about today as we get the hang of how to move our feet and how to do it effectively in a way that works is moving with your lead foot first. If you look at those same fighters, Arguello, Sonny Liston, and you check out their feet, you don't see them really ever in a position where their feet are out of whack. They're never crossed, they're never off balance, they're never square and falling backwards. Sometimes even the greatest fighters, the best fighters, you can, show one moment where they made a mistake. But characteristically, their feet are very, very good. My coach would say, if your feet are wrong, everything is wrong. If your feet are out of whack, if they're not correct, then nothing is going to work right. That's something to think about when you look at fighters that are suffering and things aren't going very well for them. A lot of times, check out their feet. When you watch two fighters up against each other, most of the time, the one that's moving better, that has better feet, is more successful. The main reason is they're moving with their lead foot first so they can maintain that quality Olympic style stance and guard. Number three, we're looking at straight punches. That's the straight left jab and the straight right hand. Alexis Arguello and Sonny Liston are still great fighters to look at to see why these simplest bread and butter punches can really, really dominate rounds. My coach would say the jab is the most important punch you have. It's an eat dirt punch. It's a mean punch. You can shut your opponent down with it. Everything your opponent's trying to get going on you, it's always in their face, breaking their rhythm up. You can bust lips up and noses and jaws. Is a painful punch. It sets everything else in your offense up. The jab being a punch, it's almost like a bass line in a song. It's always there. It's always present. It's something everything else is working around. Without it, the song loses its impact. That jab's firing. It's always there. It's always present. It's integral. It's essential. And if you don't pay attention, you can miss that. How, you watch highlights of fights. A lot of people watch highlight reels, and you'll see the big punch that ended the fight. Well, it was the jab that set that big punch up. It was the jab that slowed the opponent down. It was the jab that dominated them and broke their rhythm up and wore them out, so that big right hand or left hook or whatever it was could end it. So number one, when you're looking at the science of boxing and your punches, you want to develop a quality jab. The next punch we're thinking about is that straight right hand, that A to B, off your chin, onto your opponent, back to your chin. How to throw it in a way that does damage, thinking about the transition of weight, how to do it effectively in a way that your opponent isn't able to hit you back. And we'll really look at Arguello for that one because he had a freight train straight right hand. It was really fun to watch. So you put these three things together today: the Olympic style stance and guard, quality movement, and good bread and butter, doing damage, straight punches, the jab and the straight right hand. And you've got a great start, something you can use right away to have fun and do some boxing. The Olympic style stance and guard. Let's get right into it from the ground up. Now, if you're right-handed, your right foot's going to be back. If you're left-handed, that means you're a southpaw. Your left foot's going to be back. And I want you to just interpret, if you're a southpaw, when I say right, it means left. When I say left, it means right. And you'll figure it out. I want you to get your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit more, not too much. Now, take your right foot and we're going to put it straight back. We're going to take this front foot and just turn it in a little bit. You want this back foot out to the side a little bit. Not right here where we're sort of linear, I call it being on the tightrope, but more out here into sort of an athletic position. Now, if you're up here, you're square. We don't want that. We want you kind of right back at an angle here. Take your back heel and pick it up off the ground. Not very much, maybe an inch. I call that being on a kickstand. Bend your knees a little bit. Throw a little bit of tuck in your stomach. Have bad posture. You're going to have your elbows in nice and tight. This left shoulder, your lead shoulder, you're going to turn forward a little bit. Put your chin down, your right knuckles right under your nose, and this left hand right up here, sort of level with your eyebrow. Give it a little bit of distance. You don't want to smash it up against your face. Put it out here a little bit, maybe half a foot away, something like that. And this is a sound Olympic style stance and guard. I know that was a lot of information. Let's make it simple. You want a quality stance where you're on balance, a strong low elevation. You don't want to be too tall. You want to be down here where you're nice and strong. And you want a good, tight, clean guard that protects you. And that's left hand right up here, kind of level with your eyebrow, back knuckles under your nose. And out of that stance and guard, you're going to be very protected and dangerous. Now, let's think about movement. Out of that Olympic style stance and guard, how do we move in a way where we're on balance and we can box effectively? The first thing we're going to learn is how to move with the lead foot first. And here's what I'm talking about. This is a very simple principle, and we're going to practice it so it's automatic. Out of your Olympic style stance and guard, when you move, whichever direction you're going, the foot that's in the lead is the one that's going to move first. So if you were to move forward, your front foot is in the lead. So that's the one that's going to move first. Now, your other foot, is going to catch up and come right back into this sound Olympic style stance. If you were to move to the right, your right foot is in the lead. And your other foot catches up right back into this sound stance again. Moving back, back foot's in the lead. Moving left, left foot's in the lead. I want you to be deliberate when you take your step. So when I say deliberate, I mean take your time. Make sure you're doing it correctly. And I want you always to return into this sound stance. So after you move, look down, look at your feet. Notice, make sure that you're not square or that your feet aren't ending up crossing, those kinds of things. Make sure you're in a real balanced position. So one more time, moving right with the right foot first, back with the back foot first, left with the left foot first, and forward with the front foot first. And if you do that drill for a while, it'll be automatic, second nature. Now, let's break down quality straight punches, bread and butter, the straight jab and the straight right hand, starting with the left jab. Out of this Olympic style stance and guard. This straight jab is a simple punch. We're going to keep our weight on the back leg while we throw it though. We don't want to lean forward with the jab because then later on when we throw our right hand, there won't be any power behind it. We've already used the weight on the jab. So we're going to hang out back here nice and safe on this back leg while we throw this punch. It's going to come straight out and straight back. What I mean by straight out and straight back, it doesn't drop at any juncture and it doesn't open up and come around. It's a very linear, direct punch. So the straight left jab, straight out, keep your elbow down, no chicken wings, and straight back. When this punch lands, it makes something called a quarter turn. And what that means is, as it lands, your palm faces the ground. So it's not landing like so or like this. It's turning over, and that gives it that last little bit of snap. Bring it back right into this quality guard. Now, the straight right hand. Now we're going to use that weight that we were saving. So out of our Olympic style stance and guard once again, here's how this punch is going to break down. We're going to pivot up on the ball of this back foot. Then our knee begins to turn, our hips, our core, our shoulders. And the last thing that happens is your weight comes on fully onto this front foot as this right hand lands. And that's where the power comes from. That's what makes it heavy. So once again, pivot up on the ball of the back foot. The knee turns, the hips, the core, the shoulders. And the weight comes fully onto this front foot as the right hand lands. You'll notice I'm keeping my left hand up here. You don't want to allow this to drop as you throw the right hand because then you're exposed. You could be hit with the right hand. So as you throw your right hand, keep your left hand up. As you throw your jab, keep your right hand up. That's called keeping your off hand up, making sure that guard is sound and complete. We covered a lot of ground today. We got through the Olympic style stance and guard, how to move with it, and how to throw good quality straight jabs and straight right hands. You put those three things together and you're boxing. So have fun with it. You can take that to your equipment at home, heavy bags and what have you, or shadow box with it. And feel free to hit that legacy timer link below and you can get your rounds timed and watch action from the club. See you next time, Legacy Boxing Training Online.